everybody, welcome back to another episode. Welcome to the Talk Nerdy to Me podcast. I'm your host, Pretty Boy, and I'm joined, of course, by my co-host,
TK.
And we were going to be joined by another one of our good friends, Floppy J, but apparently he's not there, so I guess we are on our own for right now.
Where did he go? Maybe he got upset because I left it up to him because I couldn't make a decision.
Yeah, maybe. Well, happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah. In what?
3 days.
3 days?
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm not excited at all. All my plans got destroyed by people.
Oh, you had plans and they got destroyed?
Everything got destroyed, yeah.
What happened?
We were gonna spend time with my kohai and just things went awry. So, yeah. I've also been playing a lot of Fallout lately, just because Fallout's fun. Anyway, so let's get started on the everything. Start with some nerd news. I want to talk about Elon Musk's car in space. Can I just talk about that?
Yeah. Go for it.
Because there's something about it that just makes me feel so weirded out, because essentially what he did is he basically made one giant joke, and that's maybe our first interaction with actual aliens, is this car. Because here's the thing, he left it into space while blasting David Bowie.
I think that's awesome.
I don't know how I feel about it, essentially. I don't know how I feel about it in some ways. In some ways, I'm like, oh, cool, he did something really funny and cool, and it's quirky. He's a quirky little guy. But, I don't know if I want, like, David Bowie to be the first thing aliens interact with us. Or even to an extent, like, just having it, like, the little things he put on there, like, was made by humans on Earth. As one of the things that they put on the, like, the workings of the thing. I'm like, there's some part of it just like the brain power it takes to make it, for one, and for two, just I don't know, it's just so funny. I love Elon Musk, but the guy's crazy.
I personally think it's pretty awesome that he has it playing David Bowie, because I love David Bowie, so like I think that's really cool. But the only thing, I'm just gonna go back to this because this is still how I feel. If there is an alternate universe out there where David Bowie sang Goodbye Moon Man, I'm gonna find it.
Moon Man. Goodbye Moon Man.
It was sang by Flight of the Conchords, or by the guy from Flight of the Conchords. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah.
And fucking, it's beautiful. I love it. It's a really good song. But, like, from what I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard that, like, they originally asked David Bowie to do it. And if that's true, then maybe there's, like, an alternate reality where David Bowie sang it.
What's that thing that you keep talking about where it's, like, C-3PO's leg is the wrong color?
What is it called? The Mandela effect.
Okay, one second. I'm gonna look this up. There's an actual website called the Mandela Effect.
Of course there is. The big one is, like, the big one that got me, the first thing I realized was the Berenstain Bears thing. Like, I think, I remember clearly as a kid, and I have very, very few clear memories from my childhood, because my childhood was fucked. And, like, I remember it being Berenstain Bears. Like, EIN. Very clearly.
Wait a second. Sinbad wasn't a genie?
No, that never existed.
What?
Yeah, there we go. Now you're understanding.
Oh my god. I'm reading through these things and it's like...
Well, like, there's the reason it's called the Mandela effect is because people believe that Nelson Mandela died in prison. I can't remember what year, when he actually died in like 2012.
God. I'm like...
And yeah, and there's the Berenstain Bears, there's the C-3PO's leg. Here's one. You know, what is it that the evil queen says to the mirror in Snow White?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
No, magic mirror.
Magic mirror on the wall.
Yeah, but that's not how you remember it. That's not how anybody remembers it.
The fuck?
Except for my mother. My mother remembers it magic mirror. She also doesn't remember Nelson Mandela. She also remembers Berenstain Bears. She remembers everything like the reality that we're in now, which is weird because the theory is that we're in a different reality than other people, or we're from a different reality than other people.
Okay. I'm reading these. Yeah, no, I can't think of different ones, but I can, like, reading through this thing, like, the facts of the matter, like Sinbad as a genie. I remember Sinbad as a genie as a kid. It's Sinbad the genie.
That never existed.
What?
That never existed. That never existed.
No.
In this reality, at least, if we're following the Mandela effect, that never existed.
Like, okay, I remember the Berenstain Bears. I remember life is like a box of chocolate. What's the actual line?
Life is like a box of chocolates. I remember that movie. What's the quote that it is here?
Life was like a box of chocolate. What?
That is
No, shh. I'm watching a YouTube video about this. Oh my gosh.
Hello. My name's Forrest Gump.
You can still hear it, right, Rachel?
Kind of.
Do you want a chocolate? I could eat about 1.5 million of these. My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
What the hell?
What are you gonna get?
That messes with me so much. What the fuck?
Well, the one that gets me is, like, I was obsessed with Disney movies. Like, I watched every Disney movie that they had, like, when I was a kid, at least. And I remember Snow White, and I know that they said mirror, mirror. Like,
Rachel,
I never said magic mirror. No, it never said
how do you spell Looney Tunes?
Oh, I've seen this one. You know, I didn't actually watch Looney Tunes that much, but was it originally Toons?
Yes.
Yeah, now it's tunes like music, which makes no sense.
What? Oh my god. This is so messed up. This is so... Oh no.
Yeah, and there's lots of them. There's lots of things that people remember differently. And there's actually theories that we've had another shift, and there's all kinds of weird theories because different things have changed again in, like, the last couple years.
Wait.
And I've known about the Mandela effect.
Wait. The many of the characters
like,
are polar
a
opposites.
while ago. Since, like, high school.
A person is usually more subtle on this. Oh, 9. Happy if it's the future. For example, let's notice products, spellings, and events that don't match our memories. How many have noticed other people with radically different personalities, histories? Slid into an alternate reality. Did your skills and personality quirks seem to surprise others? In your prime reality, knew you well. Do you think that people can change from reality, or is there a general continuity to how they... This is... Okay, this kind of makes a little bit of sense. It's going to freak me a little bit out because I have, like, a family member that I've just been like, oh, he he left for a long time, but now I'm like, this is me. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Oh my gosh. 2 minutes later, blah, 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 blah. This is crazy.
No, I understand completely. I've known about the Mandela effect since at least like early years of my adulthood or even high school. Like I've known about this for a while now. And I've heard of people who just found out about it. I've heard that there might have been other shifts, like all kinds of stuff. And, you know, in theory, it's not impossible that we could switch realities.
I'm not saying that it's not plausible. I'm just saying, like, I've always been like, oh, haha, Mandela effect for remembering things wrong. I distinctly remember Sinbad being a genie. I remember the theme song, Sinbad the Genie.
You know, I
remember the
but...
freaking book. I'm looking this up because I'm pretty sure there's a book. I'm saying Sinbad the Genie.
I feel like I distantly remember Sinbad, but like, I don't remember that one as well.
Kids playing blah 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 called Shazam. One second, I'm looking this up. I'm reading this article. This is gonna make me freak out. These can form very easily. The Simon movie proves it. Posted
the fact
afternoon
that
of...
so many people remember that particular movie that never existed is ridiculous. Like crazy. Have you converted to believing in the Mandela effect? Because I believed in it for years.
I have for so long. Sorry, I got stuck on my College Humor now.
What, talking about the Mandela effect?
Yeah, but then it went into like different things for like the differences between Love and Lust cartoons.
Oh, okay.
I like playing with this thing right now. Okay, okay. I really need to click off this because I'm gonna go.
You're gonna fall into a pit of College Humor.
I kind of am.
Get away from the College Humor posts. Was it College Humor that did the Tide Pod thing before the Tide Pod thing was even like a really big thing?
I don't know.
Or was that Funny or Die? I think it was College Humor.
I don't know.
Tide Pods. Yeah, it's College Humor. Don't eat the laundry pods, seriously.
I'm stuck, Rachel. Yeah. I'm stuck in here, Rachel. Get me out.
Click off of it. Like, I don't know how to get you out of it. Go back to the Mandela effect. That was an interesting conversation. When you fall into College Humor, I don't know what we're going to talk about.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. The Mandela effect's interesting. It's just, that just makes me feel super weird. Because imagine for a second you could actually like get out of. How long are you gonna stay pregnant, sir? You motherfucker.
What?
I'm talking to this bitch on my Fallout Shelter game. She's pregnant. And she's been pregnant for like the past 20 minutes. I'm like, have your baby, bitch. So I guess I want to switch topic from the Mandela effect because the Mandela effect's just going to give me a headache and make me like, really oddly depressed and shit. All right.
Okay.
So I like video games.
Mhm.
I also like superheroes.
Mhm.
I want to put something up here real quick, TK. There is a. Okay, I want to put you in the position of. Okay, you're either going to be the love interest of a superhero or you're going to be the superhero, okay? And I'm going to put you into a situation, alright? And you have to give me the answer of how you would respond to these situations, okay?
Okay.
Alright then. You are a superhero, okay?
Okay.
The Tentacle Queen. Alright.
The Tentacle Queen.
Which sounds more like a villain now that I think about it, but oh well, we're just going with it. Alright, and you're significant.
It does sound like a villain.
Yes. But you save your significant others, alright? And as you're tentacle swinging throughout the city, about to, go Spider-Man-esque stylization, you get to the point to where they're like, take me, my hero. Well, how do you respond to that? They don't know that you're the hero.
Depends on the person.
They don't know that you're. No. They're your significant other.
Oh. You know what? I honestly feel like I'd be kind of pissed.
Right?
Because they wouldn't know it was me. So they would be essentially like cheating on me. Not really cheating on me, but like
enough.
In their head, they're cheating on me.
Yeah. Like
that'd be kind of fucked up.
Exactly. Like if I was like, let's say for a second, I was like running as fast as speed of, however fast I can go because I'm the fucking Flash by this definition, and my girlfriend's like, take me, my hero. I'm like, well, what about your boyfriend? He won't know. I'd be like, bitch, that's where you're wrong.
Yeah, I want to like take off my mask at that point and be like, bitch, it's me and we're done.
Bitch, you thought.
Like,
it kind of reminds me of that one Family Guy episode where, oh my gosh, what was that Family Guy episode? So there was a Family Guy episode, and essentially what ended up happening is Peter goes off and he's doing his little adventure, and he gets onto a phone sex line that Lois is working at. Alright? And like they meet up to have actual sex there. And he's like, well, maybe I just found like the part of me that originally fell in love with you back then. I'm like, I feel like that's a much different situation, I guess, now I really think about it. Like if you actually put it out there, For one, Peter's calling a phone sex line, but he doesn't know that his wife's working at a phone sex line. Yeah. Right there, there's some issues.
He's essentially cheating on her. If you're calling a phone sex line and you're in a relationship, you're cheating on your significant other. Like, it doesn't even matter if your significant other is the one that answers the phone unless you know that they work on a phone sex line and you're like, okay, I'm gonna call because my significant other works on this phone sex line. But
she never asks him. She never tells him that she's working at a phone sex line.
So, like, wouldn't that kind of be cheating too if she's having phone sex with? So, aren't they both essentially cheating on each other? Because she's having phone sex with people without her significant other's like consent, and he's calling a phone sex line without his significant other's consent. So essentially, they're both just cheating on each other.
They're both shitty people, yep.
Kind of reminds me of the show that my dad, like, had me watch yesterday, where, like, it was talking about him as a kid, and his dad comes up to him, and he's like, if this girl calls me, I can't remember her name now, but he says, like, if so-and-so calls me, you don't know me, and by the way, don't tell your mother. And then his mother comes up, and she's like, if Patrick calls, I'm not here. Or not, you don't know me, I'm not here. That's what the guy says. He says, I'm not here, and don't tell your mother. And then she says, if Patrick calls, I'm not here, and don't tell your father. And I'm just like, they're just cheating on each other. They're just being shitty people.
I feel like that may be a common thing amongst people. Just like yeah, I'm a shitty person, but the other person's just as shitty as I am.
Yeah, but like, if you're both shitty people and you're both hiding things like that from each other, there's like two options there. Either you break up or you enter an open relationship. Because like just mutually cheating on each other is just shitty.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's mutual or not, you're still cheating on each other without consent of your significant other. That's what it is. It's cheating. Doesn't matter if the other person's cheating. That doesn't make it right.
Well,
if you're in a relationship, personally, I feel like if you're in a relationship where you feel like you have to cheat on your significant other, and you're not like in a polyamorous relationship, nor have you discussed being in a polyamorous relationship, nor do you plan on discussing being in a polyamorous relationship, you should not be in a relationship in the first place.
So it reminds me of like this "fuck my life" I was reading, where it's like, my boyfriend just texted me, "We're in an open relationship, right?" Question mark.
Yeah, and you know, that's the fucked up thing. If you're in an open relationship, well, it's kind of like, sorry to go into this again, but like this happened in my life. When you're in an open relationship, you should express boundaries and you should communicate everything related to what's allowed, what's not allowed, everything. And if somebody leaves something in a gray area, then you're going to have the other person kind of unaware of what they're allowed to do or not allowed to do, which is what happened to me with an ex-boyfriend of mine that was in an open relationship, because the girl had never expressed what boundaries were there and what wasn't there. So he was just going off of assumptions.
Yeah. I feel like that's true across the board, like with a lot of people.
Yeah, well, how I feel is like all relationships require communication, but like open relationships especially require communication, because let's say you're in an open relationship and you're okay with your significant other like flirting and making out with somebody of the opposite sex, but you're not necessarily okay with them like having like full-on sex with them. That's something that should be communicated, and that's something that should be discussed and agreed upon.
Yeah.
Not just, I'm not okay with this and I'm not going to tell you, and you have to, you just have to know. Because when you just expect somebody to know something, like, first of all, that's just fucked up when you're just like, oh, you should know what's wrong and what's not. Like, any relationship requires communication of everything. You should just be 100% honest about what your intentions are, what your limits are, and what, like,
I want to eat
everything.
your asshole. That's my intention.
What's your intention? You cut out.
Oh, I said my intention is to eat your asshole. That is I believe that is the peak of a relationship, is when I eat your ass.
And then you discuss that with your partner and see if your partner's comfortable with that, because some people aren't comfortable with that. And then you decide if you still want to be together, regardless of if let's say they're not comfortable with that, then you have to decide if you really want that in a relationship, and then if you enter that relationship, and then if you are okay with the fact that you may not get that in this relationship, you still enter into a relationship. Communication.
I want to tongue punch your fart box.
Oh my god, I'm done.
You say that.
Oh god.
But okay, let me put it this way: if I with this whole like thing where it's like open and honesty with relationships, like I feel like that is so hard to do with like in general, especially at the beginning of a relationship, because it's like, okay, I believe like this is just like true across the board with most new relationships. You don't have that emotion like built where that person's going to be more stable. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you can, like, just in general, like, to give an example, like, if you aren't going to be honest with somebody about, like, not only your intentions, but also, what is, your ultimate goal. And like when it comes to open relationships, so much of it lands on the dominant person in the relationship.
Mm.
If you don't have that, then that person is just gonna be like, then it becomes hard for a submissive person to be like, I'm not okay with this, I'm okay with this, I'm not okay with this. It's something huge, that comes about.
See, I'm actually a very open person. Like, I don't particularly like talking about traumatic things that have happened to me. I will, because I'm used to talking to them to counselors, so I can pretty much just like word vomit them out. But I'm not like the most comfortable talking about it. Like, they still make me uncomfortable and make me upset. But I try to be a very open person, and in most of my relationships that I've been in, I've actually been pretty open about what I'm okay with and what I'm not okay with. But like the thing is, for the most part, I'm okay with most things. Like,
Yeah.
this might be too much information, but I I don't I get pleasure out of things involving my but like I don't necessarily get as much pleasure, so it doesn't seem necessary. But like if somebody's like, yeah, that's my thing, I'm like, okay, I guess.
I get what you're saying on that one. It's like I had like that's the thing, like having like being honest about it's like really hard, but like again, being a submissive person and like having that is something way more difficult.
But I think it's important, like, just to say this to any submissive person out there, especially when you're like in a BDSM type relationship, it's important to talk about what your boundaries are, what you're okay with and what you're not okay with, because otherwise your dominant isn't going to know what is and isn't okay, and then they're likely to cross a line. And then of course you have safe words and stuff, so you should be able to stop it. But
Unless
if
you're
you
like our one,
communicate to somebody what you're not comfortable with, you can avoid that altogether.
unless you're like our one friend who doesn't like having safe words.
Yeah, I am definitely not there. I like safe words. I think that they give me
They don't.
like a lot of times people have said, like, I've read some things about BDSM and they've said that a lot of times it seems like submissive people have more control because they get to decide what happens and what doesn't happen.
Yeah, but like so many people who are in like submissive states, if they're real subs, they don't like to have that much power. They don't like having that much control. And I guess in a sense, like it's this thing where it's like it's that teetering of the line where it's like if I have my hands around your throat, I could kill you. I could do it right now. It'd be over in a little bit. I could watch the life drain from your eyes and everything would be done, but I'm not gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things to do is like if I'm with a girl and doing her thing and I'm choking her out and everything, and I'm like, my favorite thing to do is just whisper, "I'm sick and tired of your shit," right in her ear, and just keep going. Because they become horrified about it. And it's like
this is kind of fucked up.
I am kind of fucked up if you haven't realized.
It's okay, I'm a little bit fucked up too.
Yeah, we accept each other that way. I would also say probably one of my big things when it comes to like people and their relationships. And this is just gonna be me. I don't like that people are so, how shall I put it? That they're so, I don't like people who get like super uppity about their relationships, if that makes any sense. Like,
kind of. I was gonna say, I don't like people that are controlling and secretive.
Well, here's my thing. All right, so people who are like, "Oh my gosh, everything's perfect, and every other day they're complaining about something new about their significant other. That's what I can't stand. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if somebody's like, "Man, I'm so sad that this is going on, and I have issues in my relationship, but I'm never gonna leave this person because this person is somebody important to me." That's something more. I look at that, I'm like, okay, That's a real relationship versus is we never fight ever. Because at that point, so more than likely the other person in the relationship is like, I would fight with this person, but I'm not going to because I don't feel like they would listen to me. You know?
Yeah, I think that, like, okay, so I know that there's relationships where people don't fight. And sometimes people find that, like, they just communicate and they don't fight anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I have heard of relationships like that. But, like, at the very least, if you're not fighting, you should be communicating. And, like, maybe communication helps you avoid a fight. So, not necessarily that you have to have a relationship that has fights. It's just that fighting a lot of times is also what leads to communication. So, like, there at least needs to be some sort of communication. If you're just going through a relationship and you're not fighting and you're not communicating and you're just holding everything in that you think you need to say to this person, it doesn't seem like a healthy relationship.
Exactly.
Because what I think is most important is just honesty.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest in a relationship. If something upsets you, tell them. If something, if you're uncomfortable with something, tell them. Because if you don't tell somebody, they have no way to know. And then you've got those, and I've heard of this, like, it pisses me off to no end that there's girls like this that are like, oh no, I'm fine. And, like, they're not fine. And they're not going to tell you that they're not fine. They're not going to tell you that there's anything wrong. They just expect you to know. And when you don't know, then they get pissed at you and you get into a fight. I've heard of this happening so many times with women. Why are people like this? I'm sure there's men like this too. But, like, regardless of gender, why are people like this? Why can't you just tell somebody when you're upset?
Because that's easy. Like, it's so much easier in the short term not to deal with problems. Alright?
Yeah, but, like, the point of a relationship is essentially, at least for most people, is that you want to build a life with this person. It may not work out, but, like, that's the end goal with the relationship, is you want to build a future with this person. And if you're not being honest with them, how are you ever going to have a future with them?
I think that's the big problem, is, like, we have...
Hello?
Yeah, no, I'm still here. I'm thinking to myself, like, on how I would better explain this. So... Okay, so, like, back to what I was saying is, you have, like, this person, and it's a lot easier in the short term to just be like, oh, I can do whatever I want whenever I want. I don't have to explain to my significant other about this because there's no purpose to me explaining it to them. In all reality, that's true, but it's not true in my mind. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. In my mind, again, it comes down to it where you're just like, you sit down and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm gonna be whatever I want. But I don't believe. Yeah. I don't believe that people are just gonna be like whatever for a while. I believe that there is gonna be. I don't know. I'm just I sit here and I'm thinking to myself, there are people out there who are gonna do that, and there's gonna be nothing that's gonna stop them from continuing doing it, because there's never gonna be anybody who's going to, like, nobody's gonna admit that they lie in a relationship. I'm sorry. Like, in general, people just don't do it. But there are people out there who, who are gonna look at it and say, no, I don't tell them because they're not asking. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if you look at it, it makes a lot of sense. Like, you look at it from the perspective, yeah, if you look at it from the perspective of, like, again, it comes back down to Dom, like, submissive thing. Like, a real submissive doesn't want a to be in control of their own life. They don't want to have that, they want to lose all control, submit to somebody else, but they can't do that in a responsible manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think even if you're a submissive person, you still need to be like open and honest. I know that that's hard for people that are like really shy and submissive and like whatever and closed off. But to maintain a relationship, I just think it's important to be honest. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a good person to have this opinion because although I'm more submissive, I'm actually a switch. But like, I don't know, because I can be dominant and I can be dominant in multiple situations. It just depends on like who I'm with. Like if I'm with a submissive person, I become more dominant. But if I'm with a more dominant person, I become very submissive. And I'm more comfortable with submissiveness, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but
well, how do you maintain a relationship if you don't like talk to your partner?
Oh no, I'm gonna say this. It's next to impossible to do it if you don't communicate. Like, you have to give something up so much. But like after a while, it's the honest truth. Like, if you don't communicate with somebody, it's going to end up badly. So to get off this, I want to read some more Fuck My Lives because I love this website now. You ready to read some?
Yeah.
Alright, so so this is how it's gonna go down, Rachel. I'm gonna read you off the Fuck My Life, alright? And I want you to either say, I agree, your life sucks. Do you agree that this person's life sucks at this point in time? Or that they deserved it? Alright. You ready?
Okay.
Today, while on vacation with my boyfriend, I decided it would be a good time to try getting intimate with him for the first time. It turns out his penis is so small that I get more enjoyment from a tampon applicator. We're stuck in a cabin for another 5 days.
I feel bad.
Really?
So, yeah, I feel kind of bad for them. I've been there, dude. Like, not exactly been there, because I haven't really had that, like, really happen to me, like, to that extent. But, like, the guy that I mentioned today in the stream, the one that I kind of use for dates and stuff, like, literally openly told me how small his penis was. And I was like, well, nope.
Wow, okay. I don't know about mine. I'm comfortable with it. I just don't. Nope. Move on to the next one. Today, after faking my orgasms for several years, I found out that my boyfriend has been telling his friends that I'm super low because he doesn't feel anything when I'm coming.
Wait, you're gonna have to say that one again.
Today, after faking my orgasms for several years, I found out that my boyfriend has been telling his friends that I'm super loose because he doesn't feel anything when I'm coming.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that one because there's a part of me that's like, well, you shouldn't have been doing it. But then at the same time, like, I've been in that situation where you're like, they expect me to do this, but I can't do this. Should I just fake it?
No, I don't believe we should ever fake it.
Well, okay. Can I talk about something that's kind of like dark and personal?
Sure.
So, when I was sexually assaulted recently, the guy basically wanted me to, and I was like, this isn't gonna stop until I do, so I faked it.
Yeah, no, you should never fake it. If a guy's gonna lose all...
Stop. He wasn't going to stop.
I'm sorry, like... if a guy is literally going to like lose all confidence because
No, it's not that I wanted him to have confidence. It's that I wanted him to stop.
no, what I'm saying is this is like if that's okay, this situation is completely just non-devoid of what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is like if a guy's going to take a hit because he can't get a girl to come, then he's not really a man. Like if he loses, then there's no point in it. You know? There's really no point in whatsoever to even try. Like if a guy's gonna lose it, then he's not really a man. Alright, if he can't take criticism in the form of you failed. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Alright. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Today, while celebrating my birthday, my friends hired a few escorts to make the party more interesting. This was a really bad way to learn that my sister is a prostitute.
That sounds like something that would happen to me.
Ah.
Like if I was male and I had hired a prostitute, it sounds like something that would happen to me because my sister's not a prostitute, but like she was a stripper for a while. But like, wow, having your sister come in, I mean, what do you even do in that situation?
I don't know. I really don't.
I don't think they deserved it because there's no way they could have known. And I don't shame people for like sex as long as they're like safe and careful, whatever. That's your life. But yeah, how do you respond to something like that?
I don't know. I have a brother, and if I found out my brother was like a male prostitute, I'd be like, "Well, Jeff, at least you're making money." Because I'm proud to be an American. No, I don't know. I really don't know. That's a weird one. If I found out like one of my sisters, quote unquote, like you, or like, well, not like you, but like either the other ones did, I would. It depends on which one it would be, but for some of them, like that makes sense.
What if it was me? Not saying that I'd do that because I never have, but what if it was?
How much? No, I'm joking. I'd probably be like, so when did this start? Oh, I got a good one.
Like, oh, I need.
Here's a good one, Rachel, for you.
Okay.
Today, I walked into a room where my naked best friend had set up a romantic scene and attempted to kiss me. It turns out he believed we were in a relationship for the last year and told our entire school. I'm 100% straight. This explains why I haven't been able to get laid in months.
You know, they did not deserve that. And I am going to say I don't understand how people come to the conclusion that you're in a relationship with someone when you don't say you're in a relationship with them. I think that you have to be a little bit crazy to completely create a relationship in your head.
Yeah. I'm 100% agree. Like, I mean, I come across as really gay, but I'm straight. So I actually have a coworker who I'll hang out with her every so often, but she has a boyfriend and everything, so nothing ever happens. And like, but her boyfriend's worried something's going to happen, and I'm like, no, just tell him that I'm gay. You know, be done with it. I don't care. You know, I don't care if somebody thinks I'm gay. I really don't. Like, at this point, I've kind of just accepted that people are gonna accept it. She told him I was in a homosexual relationship with another man.
Well then.
This started a 2-month integration where I had to make up stories for her to feed to her boyfriend about how I'm unhappy in the relationship.
Oh, your life.
which ended with me having to pretend to have an emotional episode and like do the whole like my hands in my like jacket pocket. I'm like, yeah, we broke up. And like had to do like slight little quiver in my voice. Best acting I've ever done in my life, by the way.
So you know, I just have to say,
Yeah.
you've said before, you've been like, my life would be normal if I wouldn't have met you, Rachel. But like, bitch, your life is still ridiculous.
I wouldn't.
I'm not even there.
Here's the problem. In any normal situation, I'm like, just tell him I'm gay. You know? You just like, no, he's gay. He came out to me. Like, that would be it. Okay? Not, oh yeah, he's in a homosexual relationship with another man. And she made this elaborate story up. I met him online through Grindr.
Oh my god.
And apparently we don't get to see each other very often because he works out of town all the time. I'm just like, what?
Oh my god.
So the boyfriend still believes I'm gay. He just thinks I'm like brokenhearted now and shit.
So like, here's where I get kind of pissed off, and I know this is an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
But like, people who don't like their significant other being in a not in a relationship. Fuck, that's not what I meant.